Thank you for heeding the call to engage. The reason why we are starting today in form of engagement, because that's ideally what we are going to be doing a lot of today. And I'm just curious to hear from the room. We do have an amazing centerpiece that has been there from the beginning. So anyone curious to just share what the centerpiece is all about?
And from where I come from, the tree provide a land and space for birds. It also, if the tree is productive, and then you see a lot of birds perching on it, and so it's like, for me, it's depleting a community that is positive, where every other person or birds can fly to and just relate.
So yes to all of those things. I think it's very much like open to interpretation and whatever birds mean for you, but kind of the original thought behind the design is that ECFG is predicated on the idea that we are better together, that working together we can drive greater sustainable change than the work of individual foundations alone. And birds are a really beautiful example of this concept in nature. A flock of birds is able to communicate and adjust together in a way that allows them to travel farther and more efficiently than one bird alone. And the paper or origami birds represent the transformation that is possible when we navigate this journey toward a better world for children, with them leading the way.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Today, we are really going to look at what are some of the things we can be able to do together. What are some of those actions that we want to take forward?
To start with, we'll hear from Alana's Foundation's work in building a coalition around children's activism and helping to bring children's voices to global stages. Young people are at the forefront of climate activism, yet only 2.4% of all climate-related funding goes to efforts by children and young people.
In COP27, it was the first time that we had children mentioned in the cover decision. The cover decision is like the decisions that all the parties agreed on, and this decision, it's like the guidelines for all the countries, what they need to follow. For example, that it was decided in COP. It was the first time ever.
The eye with which I was interacting with youth groups, they do wonderful work. They're doing activism. It's brilliant. The energy around it is good. But I think what we can do is combine the power of the law and the power of activism. So the activism is a fuel. It keeps attention on the issue, but the law is the roots. We need something to ground us in our activism, and that's one thing I noted.
Thank you very much for such an inspiring start of the day. And just to encourage us that indeed this conversation will continue. In the afternoon action spaces, we do have an action space around climate.
These are the 4 action spaces. Moving money with and for young people, following up on all the conversations about resourcing for young people and resourcing with young people. Girls and gender, decolonizing philanthropy, and mental health accompaniment and self-care, and the rooms that they're in.
1 or 2 volunteers to tell us how are their action spaces, what stood out to them.
We talked a little bit about, a couple times, about in the Decolonizing Philanthropy Action Group. We talked about the difference between shifting power and balancing power. And what came up was a lot of times power is equated to money and certain types of privilege. But really, in reality, everybody, it's the people that are on the ground that have power too. That is intrinsically that they have power. It's just that it's not always recognized.
I hope the action spaces were a space that helped you to turn your ideas into concrete steps, and we'll follow up with that. You have a ball on the table, a pink or blue one, and these notebooks or notepads from the hotel. The instruction is clear. 1 instruction: pass the ball around the table without touching the ball directly. And everyone in the table has to be involved. Yes, be creative as you can. Whatever you decide as a group. Ah. If the ball falls, you have to start again. If it falls, you have to start again. Yay! I want to ask one or two people to tell me what have they picked out from this exercise.
So for me, how we play is that we build bridges even without working directly, but we work as a team, then we're able to build the bridge.
So today we have a really wonderful opportunity to explore what it means to work and build bridges with Global South Philanthropy. So first, as many of you are aware, philanthropy in the Global South is rooted in really rich local traditions, cultures, and beliefs. So for example, here in Africa, indigenous practices such as Ubuntu, Harambee, they emphasize communal support and shared humanity. In Southwest Asia, sometimes referred to as the Middle East, there's a strong commitment to zakat, which is the Islamic requirement for charitable giving. These are just two examples, but there are many. And what these rich traditions highlight is that there is an inherent culture of giving that has existed long before modern philanthropic work has taken shape in this world. Some of these modes of philanthropy might look very different from the Western idea of aid, which we think about as grants and reporting requirements. Many of these types of philanthropy are not recorded or documented. They might not even be quantifiable. But they are a critical and significant part of the philanthropic landscape, and if we ignore them, we're actually overlooking a really important component to our success. I just want to express sincere thanks to each of you for sharing your work, for sharing the crucial role that is played by different forms of Global South philanthropy, for helping us all broaden our perspective of what philanthropy, giving, and social development looks like in your context, and for really making it clear that North-South collaboration in philanthropy is not just important, but it's actually essential if we want to have a sector that is effective, ethical, and actually resulting in sustainable change. Thank you all for being here, and I will hand it back to our facilitator.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor being in front of you and learning from some very brilliant minds. And especially thank you to ECFG for actually including youth in this space. I think we can all agree it's a step in the right direction, right? So thank you so much.
So thank you very much, and we do appreciate and all the best in the work you do. I hand over to Heather to finalize.
Thank you. All right, that's some good energy. That's what I'm looking for. The last thing you want right now at the end of a very, very intense, meaningful, exhausting, but inspirational, I hope, 3 days is more talk. But I want to remind you this isn't the end. This is a beginning. This is a beginning of translating these ideas, these conversations, these connections we made into the change that we want to see in this world for children and youth. I'm going to invite you as you leave to take one of the bird cutouts with you. Not the trees. We'll get in trouble if you do that. But grab a bird cutout if you would like. Because like a flock of birds, we communicated and acted together in a way that will allow us to travel further and more impactfully than if we were flying alone. Thank you. I hope you all have a safe trip back. You made this happen. We love you. Have a great trip back. Thank you.